Right now, the Chancellor is speaking to reporters. Tell us a little bit about these records that are being released, and then we'll get into why they're so controversial.
So it's a system that the city developed with some researchers at the University of Wisconsin. It tries to measure each individual teacher's impact on their students through the test results of those students. It's going to name the teachers and show their rankings against all of their peers on a 0 to 99% kind of scale. So it's a very personal kind of job information, and there are a lot of concerns that the data might not be accurate, that it's unfair to expose teachers in this way, that it opens them up to all sorts of assaults that might be unfair based on 1 year's worth of data alone. It has been very controversial.
How many teachers are we talking about roughly, Aaron?
It's 18,000 teachers, 4th through 8th grade. Okay. The tests being used are math and English tests, so you have to be teaching in one of those subjects in order to be swept into the system.
In certain grade levels?
4th through 8th grade.
4th through 8th. So let's back up. I'm sure the teachers union has been fighting this tooth and nail.
Yeah, there was basically the Wall Street Journal and about 12 other media organizations requested the information back in 2010, and a lawsuit ensued. The union tried to block the release, and the city fought to release the information, arguing that it was a fair thing to release under Freedom of Information laws. And the last appeal was exhausted last week. So what you're going to see today is the Journal and a bunch of other media organizations publishing searchable databases where you'll be able to look up the name of the teacher, the name of a school, and find out all sorts of information about how they did.
Two sides to this story, obviously, and let's look at both of them. On the one hand, public school teachers are paid by taxpayer money.
Right.
That must be one of the strongest arguments for publishing these rankings, I would assume. And this is being looked at on a state level as well as a national scale, I would imagine.
Right, that was the argument the city made, that was the argument that we made in the lawsuit, and we actually quote Robert Thompson, the managing editor of the Journal, in our story today, basically saying as much that it's a matter of public interest to have this information out there. But interestingly, we've seen people from across the spectrum on education policy debates, from Bill Gates to teachers union officials, all saying that they feel they have very large concerns about the release of this information. And so usually, these are sides that you wouldn't always see lined up together. Today, we are seeing them express some concerns that we're naming teachers publicly like this. And
let's step away from the bureaucrats for just a minute. How do the parents feel? The parents whose kids are being taught by these teachers, and it's their tax dollars.
In early discussions with parents, and again, they haven't actually seen the information yet, but they're kind of on both ends of it too. Some express curiosity to get this information and use it. Others are very sensitive to the fact that the teachers feel exposed, and they're concerned that this will be something that will be damaging for the people who are working with their kids. We also have heard from people who think that the attitude of keeping this out of parents' hands over concerns that they might misuse the data or misunderstand it is sort of patronizing and unfair to very savvy consumers of education in New York City.
It will certainly be of great interest. I mean, you can see once the rankings are out, on social media, you can just see where was your teacher, who was your teacher. I mean, it could have a life of its own for a long time, we would think.
I think that's right, and I would say more broadly that even for people who are critical of this sort of system, the release of the information is the only way you can really take a close look and see if the way that a teacher who's been working with your kids, how they're evaluated, if it matches your own perception of them, and that's the only way you can begin to ask questions about whether the system works.
Need a benchmark. All right, you said we'll be posting those on WSJ.com as soon as the rankings are released and we can compress and compile them.
Yes, should be out later today.